outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. Since we've no place to go.
What up, K-Babes? It's me, Katie, and welcome back to my channel for day 8 of Vlogmas. Let's just get started. You hear painting in the background. I'm so sorry. I have 2 puppers back there, and also ignore my bed. I sleep with a bunch of blankets. So, for day 8 of Vlogmas, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started today off by doing a vlog, and I slowly realized that I don't have anything to show for a vlog. So that's why I'm making this video. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about mental health. And really the reason why I am making this video is because I know I need a video. Because I've tried to make a video like this several times in the past, but I get too scared to post it, and I feel as if since I know I have to post a video and this is the video that I'm making, it makes me know that I need to post it. It might be a long one, I don't know yet, and the editing might suck, and just know that I tend to trail off a lot, because I don't have anything written down on what I want to talk about. It's just going to be whatever comes to my mind. I have a little bit of what I want to talk about, and are you good, girly? Settle it down. And I don't know if I'm going to want to do a bunch of editing on this either, just to make it as real as possible. So yeah, let's get started on what I wanted to talk about first. So again, ignore Luna. She's panting like she just ran a marathon. But ever since I was 5 years old, I have experienced anxiety. I could have experienced before then, but at 5 years old was the first time that I remember having a panic attack. It was over my phobia, which I'm not going to talk about my phobia because I'm too scared to talk about that because it's a phobia, and that is too personal for me to talk about. So yeah, I'm a junior in high school. The first time I ever went to a therapist or a counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call it, was in 3rd grade for my phobia, I think. I really don't know. I don't remember going there a lot. I'm very shy, and I don't like being, at the time, and still kind of now, didn't like being places without my parents, and this lady would not let my parents in the room. So I don't remember going to her that much, but then in 6th grade I went to another lady, which she helped, not a lot though. She taught me coping mechanisms on how to cope with my phobia and with anxiety, and she kind of suggested more things that she wanted me to do that I really didn't feel comfortable doing, and so with that, it felt like it wasn't helping because she really wanted me to do these things, meaning she wanted me to go back to school, which I did not want to do. That's probably the biggest thing. She really just wanted me to figure out about going back to school for 7th grade, and I did not want to do that. But then I met my therapist that I'm at right now. I started my freshman year with her, and she has changed my life for the better. She knew right away what I needed, and that is amazing for me. I'm trying to take this to where it's not really talking about me. I don't really want to talk much about my mental health. But I guess almost just to give you a background on how my mental health is, I guess. So I said ever since I was 5, I had dealt with anxiety, but then in 2019, was it 19? I think so. No, 18. 2018, I started to become depressed. I avoided it at first because I was like, I had all these things. No one's attention. I had all these things that made me happy, and so I was like, there's no way I can be depressed, whatever, and I pushed it off. It probably started April that year, but when I really finally caved in and said, yeah, you need help, because I was scared, was when in October, and that's when I reached out to my parents about it. With that, what I want to say is, just because you have so many things in your life that makes you happy, where you feel constantly like you just have this big old list, like you can't be depressed. It doesn't matter how many things you have, how many loved ones, how many things around you that, or things that surround you that makes you happy. It doesn't matter how much of that you have, you can still be depressed, which I did not understand. So yeah, if I did understand that, I might have gotten help before it could have gotten deeper into what it did. But now I do understand that, and I do understand more things about mental health, and that's why I want to talk about it, to help other people. And one of the big things that that I still struggle with is it's okay to reach out for help. I don't like talking about my feelings. I don't like, which sounds weird because I'm in therapy, but I don't like crying in front of people. That's the thing. And the older I get, I think it's more harder for me to, that's not how you're supposed to say it. It's more hard for me to reach out. But know that it is okay. It's not a sign of weakness. I feel like sometimes people might think reaching out means that they're weak, but I don't believe that. So if you are struggling and you want to reach out to somebody but you think will be a sign of weakness, if that person you're reaching out to says that and that was not the right person, I don't think it is a sign of weakness, because I feel as if you are able to tell the hardest story that you're going through, the hardest thing that you're going through, if you're able to speak on that, then that makes you strong to be able to talk about it and relive it while you're talking about it. So, sorry, I'm scratching her ear. So know that it isn't a weakness, and if you do have trouble talking about it, write it down. That's normally if I'm really in a dark place and I really need help but I can't talk about it. I write in a journal to my parents, and I leave it on the kitchen table for them to read the next morning. Settle down. But yeah, I don't necessarily like, here, hold my hand. Here, let me pause. Thank you. I don't necessarily, how I said, like talking about it. I always, when I go to the doctor, hated the fact that it was on my chart that I have anxiety and depression. Even though they have to ask everybody the questions, since I do go to a psychiatrist too, I have to be asked the questions. there too, and it feels like every time I go to a doctor, they always ask me these questions, and it gets annoying. I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, sorry, I just remembered where I was going with that. I had to cut it to think. Is I felt like if I told people and let people know that it was like I had a label on me, it was just like boom, like right there. It's like, oh, she has anxiety and depression, all this stuff. And so I don't tell people because I don't want people to know that aspect of me. It's like my little secret that I have. And because it's like the flaw that you don't like about yourself. We all have insecurities, and that's something you don't want people to know, and that's with my mental health. I don't want people to know that, because I don't want people to judge, and I don't want people to know what I struggle with. But sometimes it's good for people to know, when you're able to talk about it, because you don't realize that even though it is hard to talk about, when you do talk about it. I'm ignoring Luna. I don't know what she's barking at. She literally barks at the wind blowing the tree, so no telling what she's barking at. But it does feel good sometimes to talk about it and let that stuff go. I'll be right back. I love how I said I'll be right back like I'm on the phone with you guys. Do you need to be held for a second? Come here. Come here. Oh, yeah. There's my other puppy. But it wasn't something that I wanted people to know about. That wasn't what I was talking about. Hang on. It was when I found myself talking about it, it was almost as if every time I talked about it, this like weight on my chest just kept getting less and less and less. So it is a good thing to talk about it. But at the same time, it can be hard to talk about it. So I understand that for some people, they don't want to talk about it. They just want to keep it inside, which everybody copes with things differently. But I just hope that if you are that kind of person, that you do know that it's okay to talk about it. So I guess more about my mental health is I do take medicine for it. I know a lot of people are against that. I know some people are for it, but I am medicated for it. I got two bad boys right there. One is Zoloft, which is an anxiety and depression, and the other one is Lamictal, which is an old seizure medicine, but I use it something to help the old part of my brain to help me cope with my phobia. So yeah, I do take medicines. Something that I think frustrated me a while back was that my psychiatrist told me that I might not be able to get taken off my medicine ever. I might have to take it until I take my last breath, which is annoying But at the same time, it's like, well, I've been taking it for this long, so why does it matter? Why should it be annoying? But the reason why I'm not able to get off of it is because my mental health isn't a situational thing. It was bound to happen in the first place. Obviously, since I've had it since I was 5, I was born with it, and it was just, I don't know, it's just basically a ticking time bomb until something with mental health happened, and it did, and here we are 12 years later. I still have it. It's a fight every day. It's a fight that I have learned that you can't give up on. Just because you're doing good doesn't mean that you're gonna stay good, which sucks, but it's the truth. I like to explain it as if, like, I like using a bunch of analogies with mental health to explain on how I feel. For me, it's like looking at my brain. It's like one side's the good side, one side's the bad side. They're constantly fighting each other for the main little circle thing that's like thing that controls me or whatever. Like, I think of like one of those construction things that have like the shift things on it, and the bad and the good are constantly fighting to see who's going to be sitting in that seat. And so I've learned that the good, when you fight and fight and fight until the good is in control, I've learned that just because the good is in control doesn't mean you get to let up, because the bad is always in the shadows. It's always going to be right there, and it's plotting on how to take the good out of the seat. I think I'm gonna read this thing that I wrote a while back, when I was trying to make this video. It's actually over a year ago when I tried to make a video like this. So I will be right back to get it. It's in my closet. My dogs come run when they hear me open my closet because I think I'm leaving. Okay, hang on. They're not in the right order. Here we go. So, yeah, I wrote this October 1st, 2019. But I don't know when I did the video, though. I had this written in my notes for a long time. Actually, that's not right. I must have edited it then, because I wrote this in the middle of the night, and this says I wrote it at I have it down like this. It says I wrote it at 4:24 p.m. So that's not correct. So I wrote this, how I said, basically in the middle of the night, and just wanting to be able to put out there my story on mental health, because my mom, I say it in here, but my mom always tells me that maybe you're going through something like this to help others. And I feel almost selfish knowing that could be true and not providing information that I have learned, or sorry, there's something on my screen, or information that I learned, or just thoughts that I have to get myself through, because I think I say it in here again, is I have so many, my brain just runs and runs, and I have so many thoughts on how I can help, or like what I could say to people to help them, but it's funny because when it comes to me, I can't think of anything. Okay, I'm just gonna read this because I'm literally like reciting some of the things. Okay, also, I know that's probably annoying. When we painted my room, there was like something hanging up there, so instead of taking it down, we painted around it, but then the thing broke, and I've never painted it since, so ignore that. I'm tired of hiding the secret, so I'm here to tell you the truth. I have anxiety and depression. I'm not proud of it. If you have anxiety and depression, you probably understand how I feel. I'm sorry, but that beginning was dramatic. Okay. Also, before I start this too, even though we're deep into this video, I laugh in awkward situations. So, pardon me on that. Okay. I don't want people to know about my illness. It makes me feel weak, more weak than I already feel. I don't want people to treat me differently because of it or because I have suicidal thoughts. I don't want people to know because I don't want a label, but I already feel like I do. So that's why I'm making this video. You know, what's to lose? My mom always tells me that I could be going through this so I can also help other people through the same thing. I don't wish this upon anybody. I feel myself put on a front so on the outside I look perfectly fine, but on the inside I'm slowly dying. The worst feeling is being in a room with a lot of people and walking out and letting that breath didn't know you were holding in. That breath being the front you are showing everybody. Anxiety is not new to me. I've had it for 11 years, 12 years now. But depression is something that is new to me. I've only had it for a year. It's been 2 years now. I don't know how to control it as well as my anxiety. I find myself crying for no reason whatsoever. I just cry and cry until I cry myself to sleep. I can be crying one minute and be happy the next, nothing, and act like nothing ever happened. This is the most confusing thing ever. With mental illness, it makes you think things you don't want to think. Like for me, it's suicidal thoughts or I get very paranoid. My mind loves to play tricks on me. It likes to tell me that there's someone in the house when there is not. This is the part that I don't really like because I feel like this is the most vulnerable part because I feel like it makes me sound crazy. I can't walk to either side of the bed when it's dark because my brain makes me think that there's someone there on the ground. There's so much more my brain makes me think. I don't tell people about these things because they will think I'm crazy, but the question I always ask myself is, am I? Am I just crazy? Something that I've learned that comes with depression is tiredness. I love to sleep, but who can blame me? I'm constantly fighting my mind. I find sleeping as an escape from life. But see, I don't just say, see ya, I'm going to bed, I'm sick of life. I get in bed at 9, but it depends on the night. And what I mean by that is how hard my thoughts attack me. That's why sometimes I don't go to sleep until 3 in the morning because of my thoughts that keep me up, or because I stay on my phone so my thoughts won't attack me. Lately, I can't even close my eyes long enough to go to sleep, to have to open them again because my mind repeatedly tells me there's someone in my room watching me. I know there's not, but why not open my eyes to look? For a while I hated sleeping because what I loved about it was taken away. I love dreaming. That's what helped me escape. But when what you're trying to escape from comes to your dreams, it's not fun. I'm constantly tired. It doesn't matter how much sleep I get. I feel like as soon as I wake up, I need to go back to sleep. I'm so tired of fighting, but I know I can't stop because it could turn into a death sentence. I also think, why can't people tell that I'm hurting? But what my nana told me once is that mental illness isn't like a physical illness. Like if you have cancer, people can normally tell because you lose your hair. There's something physically happening that you can see, but with mental illness, there's no physical change that you can see. I know it's frustrating, but you have to understand that you're the only one that knows. That's why you always feel lonely, because you are in it alone. But know that you don't have to be. Reach out for help. I know it's going to be hard. Trust me, I understand. I'm not good at showing my emotions. Is this one? No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, I wrote on the back of one of these. I have to figure out which one it is. showing my emotions. So when I need to tell someone about them, I write it down in a letter. So I gave my parents a letter to tell them I was depressed this month a year ago, which was when I wrote this was in October of 2019. So in 2018 was when I gave it to them, so 2 years ago. It took me longer to give it to them than it did for me to write it. I gave it to my mom and I just laid in my parents' bed while she read it. I didn't face her because I didn't want to talk about it. But I knew I had to because I felt that if I didn't, I wouldn't be here much longer, and that scared the shit out of me. Pardon my language. I would sit in the shower and cry, think about what I would say in voice memos to say my sorries and goodbye. The thing that makes me laugh is I can tell you how to get through stuff like this, but when it comes to me, when I get sad or anxious, I have nothing for myself, nothing to say to help me. Why is that? Hang on, make sure this wasn't the one I wrote on the back of. Which one did I write on the back of? Okay. I'm going to read this letter I found on Pinterest that I can relate to. Okay. Depression. Yes, being depressed is being sad, but that's not just it. Being depressed is not being able to find yourself in the darkness that surrounds you. Depression is when you can be happy one moment, then in a second you're sad. Depression isn't what people really think it is. It's like a childhood friend, except they stay throughout the years. Depression isn't for people who want attention because they are lonely. Being lonely is a part of depression, but no one who is actually depressed wants people to know. The most quiet people are the ones with the most chaotic minds. People don't understand how hard it actually is to talk about depression. Depression is like gum under your shoe. For a little you don't know it's there, but you can feel it. Then over time you know. Nowadays people throw the word depression around like as if it's oxygen. People who are depressed aren't the ones who are open and talk about being depressed and stuff. Those are the people who are lonely. People who are depressed make living in the darkness look easy. They put on a mask so you can't see them in pain. They're the ones that can make you laugh and are there for you. They're the ones who stayed quiet when it comes to group conversations. The ones who have gone through so much that they don't feel anymore. They're just numb. Depression isn't a cold or flu where you take medicine and it goes away. Depression does this thing where it lets you out of the darkness for a month or so, and then the minute you break down, she comes back. Some people like me, find the beauty and comfort in darkness. Others see the chaos and horror of it. The first stage of depression is being sad and lonely. You tend to sleep more often than usual, and when you look in the mirror, it's like as if you're looking through yourself. The second stage is letting your mind take control whenever it gets a chance. You can be with a group of friends talking, and the second you look away, your thoughts take control of your brain. The third stage is staying up, thinking about everything that has gone bad in your life. You usually look at the ceiling, like if it's showing you the flashbacks. The fourth stage is less talking. Over time, you don't bother talking a lot because you know you'll slip up and start crying. The fifth stage is canceling plans for no reason but to stay in bed, cry, and sleep. The sixth stage is not being able to sleep because you feel as if you lost to depression. The seventh stage is losing your mind. You become numb human with a black heart and depressed mind. Over time, you realize that you can't stay this way, but you don't know a way out. So you find the comfort in the darkness. Oh no! I didn't read this one, the back of it. Okay, that's okay. So, okay. Well, okay. Now going back to my letter. People like to say they understand, but they really don't. I read things about depression all the time. People will say I need to stop, but I read them because the words that people are writing I relate to 100%. No one around me understands what I feel, so when I read something, sorry, my handwriting's so messy. When I read something that I understand, it's comforting. We recently moved. It was sad. We lived in that house for 4 years. We thought that was our last house. No more moving. We thought it was our forever home. But that is not the saddest part. The saddest part is when we moved, I realized now how uncomfortable I was in that house and how comfortable I was in our new house. It wasn't what was on the outside that made me uncomfortable. It was what was on the inside. The bad memories. Don't get me wrong, we had wonderful memories in that house, but the bad overpowers the good. I didn't realize until we moved that every time I walked in that house, my chest would get heavy. I realized I relived the bad memories every day, that it became a habit, and I didn't realize that I was doing it. I couldn't do many things a certain way without the bad memories flooding back. Memories that I wish I couldn't remember. I wish sometimes we didn't have to leave that house, but at the same time I did, especially once I realized how the house made me feel. I'm glad we did, because I wouldn't have had my sweet little puppy, Luna. Luna. Your name's Luna, huh? Are you Luna? Are you my bubba's? Okay. She looked up at me like, what the heck are you talking about? Luna is my service dog. She will be getting trained, which she already has. She'll be getting trained on how to comfort me when I'm anxious and when I'm feeling down. She will learn how to lay on me like a weighted blanket to comfort me, which I don't think she'll have trouble with doing, because she already does it, because she has no sense of personal space. I'm on the path of getting better. It's a long path because, to be honest, I don't think it ends. There is so much more I can say, but I think I'm just going to stop here. Love everybody. Let them know that they are loved and worth it, because you don't know what they are going through. Love all. Hang on, I have one last paper. Girls, don't do that. I just want everyone to know that is out there. There's someone here and I have to read this really quickly. I just want everyone to know that is out there that you can get through this, even though if it feels like the end of your road, it's really not. You feel like you're in a dark hole, but you're not looking up. You're not looking up for the hand, God's hand. Pray to Him. He will get you through it, and it will feel like you don't even have to lift a finger. Through all this, I have made a great relationship with our Father, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You are worth it. You can get through it. You are loved and you are strong. Love all. Be positive. You will find yourself in a better place in life. Spread your positivity and hope others will too. Okay. I don't know if it will work if you have never done it in therapy, but I'm going to try to explain it how my therapist explained it. It's one of the best coping mechanisms, or two of the best coping mechanisms that I have ever learned. The first one that I learned was when you're feeling anxious, to imagine a warm light going across you. Start at your feet, wiggle your feet for 10 seconds, and just work up the rest of your body until you stop feeling anxious. The second one, which I find to be the best, I do this thing to help me cope with my traumas, that how I reached them, to be able to walk through them and express how I felt. Sorry, my heat just turned on. It's called EMDR. I'm falling over, sorry. It's called EMDR, and it was like these little beads, probably like that, or like that shape, and then probably about that long, and I put them in the palm of my hands, and they went back and forth tapping. We called them the tappers. So, and then I was taught how to do it when I'm at home. So it's not only to trigger the part of your trauma, and I suggest not doing that. Don't do that part of it. Do that with a therapist, or with somebody that you trust, and to research it more before you do that aspect of it. But what I also use it for is when I'm anxious, when my phobia is around me, or when I'm just anxious, or feeling sad, and I want to put it in my container. That's what we call it. So she had me pick a container. She said like a drawer, anything. Just pick any kind of container that can close. And you tap somewhere on yourself. What I do, I'll just stand up on my bed for a second, is I tap my arms like that. And you just do that, and you think of it, but put a positive spin on it. Like, say you're nervous about a situation, do that and put a positive spin on it, and then, or even don't even do that, whatever you're nervous about, put it into your container, close your container up, take a deep breath. What I do is I take a deep breath, and while I'm doing that, I don't release it until I close it, and then I release my breath. And while I'm doing that, I'm tapping, and sometimes I just do that because it relaxes me. It's like shaking your leg almost. Just tap, and it will, I don't know, it just helps. Just look up more. I don't really know how to explain it that much. If you are interested in something like that, just look up more. It's called EMDR. And I'll put somewhere, I might type it or screenshot something and put it somewhere that explains it. But yeah, that's something that helps me. And what I think about when I put it in my container that I chose was a mason jar. And what I sometimes think of is when I close it, that I put it into God's hands. I imagine hands and put it into it. Or I'm standing on the beach and I throw it as far as I can into the ocean. So to let go of it. That's what you're resembling, is letting go of it. And she also told me that you can always, like, if it's something that you don't need to worry about at the time, like maybe you have an interview or something and you're worried about it, put it in there, and then you can always take it back out. And I know therapy and that kind of stuff isn't for people, so if it isn't for you, I'm sorry. But if you do want to try something like that, I hope something like what I have talked about helps, and I hope in some sort of way you could relate to something that I have said, and know that people are with you through this, even people you don't know. And I will say that my Instagram is in the description box down below, and if you need someone to talk to, my DMs are open, and I will talk with you through stuff. Right, Lynn? You want to talk with me through stuff with people? Yeah, I'm open to talk to, if you want to talk more about this stuff, just DM me and we can talk more in depth into it. So I hope this could have helped somebody out today, and If you want me to talk more about it, just comment down below, or how I said, DM me about it, and I can touch more on stuff in another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you didn't, still give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below other things you want to see me do. If you want to check out my other social medias, they're always in the description box down below. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you get notified whenever I post. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 9 of Vlogmas.